But what I really wanted to talk about was how I got here today, how I got into planning and creative planning and creative journaling, and basically how it's changed my life and how it's inspired me, setting goals and everything. But when I was about 20, I had a good job, I had a fiance, I had a lovely house, and there was this thing inside of me that just said there must be more to life than this. There must be more, and I felt like every day was like Groundhog Day. And this will get to planning, but I just want to set a little bit of background first. But I upped and left everything because I just wanted to follow this, you've heard of wanderlust. There's this thing inside of me that just said this can't be it. So I upped and left everything behind and ended up in about 2 weeks meeting my now husband. We got married a year later, and then I ended up in this situation which wasn't unlike the one that I left, and everything became like Groundhog Day. And then I had my 3 children, and I became really sort of closed because I was fearful of taking risks, because it was almost like when I first started to have the children, I felt really like I wanted to protect them, and I didn't want to venture too far from anywhere. I just closed off, and I became this shut off person. And then I started to get really negative, and my life was like, I didn't spend money on myself, I just focused on the children all the time, and it was like I didn't really have much of a life. And I was going to my husband's church at the time, and that was a really small place. It was full of, it was just a handful of people that went there, but they kind of shut themselves off too from the world. So I was really isolated, and I didn't have friends where I lived, and that was a really toxic environment. So I was, at the time, I was just so negative, and there was some injustices going on as well. So at the same time, I was trying to sort of come against those, and I didn't realise that coming against those would set me up for later on for transforming my life, changing my life. And so I wrote this quote down because one day I was online and I read this quote, and it was like my eyes just suddenly opened. It was like I just stepped away from myself a minute and saw myself. And it says, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." So I was about 20, so about 13 years I was this really negative person, and my life wasn't going anywhere, and I felt like I was really that tight bud, shut off from the world, and just really closed off, and I didn't want that for my life anymore. I just thought, I don't want to remain safe, I don't want to remain not take any risks. I started to want to take risks, I wanted to blossom, I wanted to grow, and there was this hunger against that hunger that I had when I was 20. That thing that I had inside me that made me give up my life was back again, and so I thought I've got to do something about it. And so I made another big decision. It was big for me, it might not sound big to anyone else, but I said to my husband, I need to leave, I've got to leave the church, because it wasn't really very healthy or good for me. And it was difficult for him, because obviously that's his family, because his mum and dad were pastors of the church, so it was like a really big deal just to turn around and say, I want to leave, and everyone took it personally. I left on really good terms, but people were really hurt. But I knew I had to do that for myself, but it was really difficult because people were really upset with me and no one wanted to talk to me, so I was even more on my own. But the first few steps really are the hardest ones, but I took them anyway. And then I started to pick up different books, like life-changing books. So I had one was called Power Thoughts, and I started to assess my thinking, where I didn't do that before. I wasn't really thinking about my thinking. But I started to read these self-help books, and some people not self-help books, but if you really take them seriously and then you follow on what the principles are taught in there, you can slowly start changing your life, which is what I did. And so once as I was doing that, I joined a online group. I think it was through Facebook. I saw on Pinterest some really lots of yummy candy planners and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're amazing. They look so amazing. And I saw all these, like washi taped edges, and I was like, what is that? Oh my goodness, that is amazing. All the colours, it was just the colours, it was like my life had been so boring, and I never bought myself really any new clothes. I mean, I was really like this shop person, and I didn't really wear any makeup or anything. I had no colour in my life, which was, I wasn't like that when I moved, but I just become that person. So I joined this group on Facebook, and the brilliant thing about it was basically it was a year of, you take a planner, and I wasn't really the planning type, but you take like, is it moleskin? Is that how you pronounce it? Planner, and then you add these tip-in pages. And so what we had was, we had space to plan, space to write, and space to create as well. So I've always been into art, but I never really knew which way to go with it, because I didn't consider myself an artist, and I didn't really think I could draw or anything. And the best thing about this group was, it was the best thing for me, because basically they said, just get a blank piece of paper, get paints, get tape and stuff, and just basically just have fun. And so I went with that, and at first it was really like scary, because this was pure black and it was beautiful, it was like brand new, and I was like, oh, how do I do this? Got poured paint all over it, and it was all new to me, and I just thought, no, I'm going to go for it. So I got the gesso and I just like wiped it all on, and then every single week they were saying, make mistakes, make loads of them, you know, just don't get precious about it. You know, if you've heard of wreck this journal, you know, it's like wreck this journal, because it was just treat it like just like you're having fun with it. So that introduced me to planning, and also to art journaling. So yeah, so I changed my thoughts were becoming more positive, and with this changed the way it basically changed my life, because then I started to buy more planners and started getting into art journaling. Then I joined more groups, met new friends, and my world was slowly becoming bigger and bigger, and I was opening up to more people, was opening up as a person. And then from that I found my like self-expression, my creative side, and I started to discover who I was, but I didn't even think in a million years a group could do that online. And basically it led me to where I am now, meeting you guys today, from joining that one group on Facebook, or going back deciding that I was going to take risks, joining the group, meeting new people. And yeah, so I set up a blog to document, initially it was to document my journey, because I wanted to share it. I felt this thing inside me just to share my journey with other people. So what I really wanted to share about the creative side, how I did it, was basically just to go through with yourselves on how I went from where I was to where I am. But just to get a planner, get your planner or another planner, and set aside space where it's like a safe space, where you don't mind making mistakes, or you do, but you want to overcome that. You want to overcome making mistakes. You need to make sure you have that safe place, a place where you're not going to get too precious about it. So like the really good thing about these is that you can just get yourself like an insert, and just do what I did with this, and just cover it. You know, just go with it. Just go with the flow, and decorate it. And then inside, like do what you think is your messy handwriting, you know, just have that place, that safe place where you can just explore. And the really amazing thing is, if we hold back, if we don't do that, we don't grow. It's like really strange. It's like if we just let ourselves go, if we just have fun and play with it, it's like we suddenly start growing as a person, you know, it goes hand in hand. So this thing about perfectionism, you've got to tell yourself there's no room for it at all. You've got to appreciate, you've got to really value yourself as a person. If you don't value yourself, you won't value what you're creating. So like when you see a child, whatever creative things they're doing on a bit of paper, you wouldn't dare say, because you value them, you love them, you wouldn't dare say, well, that's not really perfect, you know, but we do that to ourselves, and we shouldn't do that. So there's no room for perfectionism. And again, it's about your personal growth. So you've got to be true to yourself in that, and embrace. I wrote, embrace what you think are imperfections, and you've got to equally value yourself as you value others. Because, like, when we're on the group and that we try and encourage each other, we go, oh yeah, that's really, really good, and we just inspire one another, but we don't really do that for ourselves. You've got to be that voice for yourself. You've got to take responsibility for yourself and encourage your own work and grow as a person, and be inspired as well. So for me, I like to go on Pinterest and being really inspired by other people's work. But when you go on Pinterest or on Facebook and then you see a picture and you're like, oh my goodness, or Instagram, and all of a sudden it's like that visual impact, and it's like, do you get that? Do you get when you see a picture and you're a bit overwhelmed by it and you think, oh my goodness, that's amazing, I wish I could do that. I mean, we all say that, oh, I wish I could create like that or do that. But what I found was, what I learned, this must have been about a year ago, is if you take that image, so you find an image on Instagram or on Pinterest, and it sort of gets the creative juices flowing, and you get really overwhelmed and that's so amazing, it's so beautiful. Sit there with it and then break it down. So you think, well, hang on, what is it about this picture? What is it about this setup that I really like? And then you notice that there might only be one or two creative elements in that picture that you pick out and think, wow, it wasn't as a whole package, it's these little things. So you take those creative elements and then you take maybe a couple from another thing, and then you pull them together, and then what you find you have, if you take them and use them for yourself, is you found your niche, you found your style, you found your your creative element. As it all comes together, put it all together, take the colours that you like and get really creative with it. Use all those ideas, bring them together, and then you slowly find that you've got something there, you've got your creation, your niche. If you don't do that, if you hold back and let that perfectionism hold you back, then you as an individual who would normally have new, fresh, creative ideas, because you're holding back, it's like you sort of deny the world your own unique stamp. And what we're here for is for self-expression. But if you hold back, you're denying yourself and denying other people who you are, that type bud. You need to blossom and share with the world and the group, your unique individuality, your unique self, and and people want to see that, because you will then go on to encourage other people as well, and then to become more bold as well. I would encourage you to share as often as possible. Keep sharing your ideas to encourage other people. Share it, set up an Instagram account, set up a blog or whatever. And you might not have time, but you don't need a lot of time for Instagram, so if you just take pictures and stuff. But where I also, to be inspired, what I do is, so you see some of these have inside pockets. So if you're on a journey of, I don't know, say you're trying to find out more about who you are, or you want to become more confident as a person, and you want to change your thought life or whatever, then you can, or you've got goals, you've got some big goals, then use this as your vision board. So use these pockets here, take all the things that inspire you. So my other plan, I have a photo, and I put it inside one of the pockets so I can see it, and it's of a person I admire. And then I would see that, and it would remind me of my goal of where she's at, because she's she's written a couple of books and she encourages other people. She goes around the world speaking, and that image, it wasn't just what she does, it was what the image said to me, and so I put that inside my planner. So it would always prompt me and remind me of my goal, of where I'm going, with everything. And then take as well, so you can change it up every week, so you can put all the colours that inspire you, words, positive words, notes from loved ones, or and put them in here and have that as your inspiration. Sometimes you might not want to share it because it's personal, but but get creative there. And what I did want to share this, I've got some really personal things in here, but as part of my journey, I read, obviously I read some books, but I'm reading Miracle Morning I'm doing, and I'm trying to think what other one it is. I'm doing one called Mirror Work, I think it is. And basically it's about self-esteem, because I've got really bad, I feel really self-conscious, like I might be able to stand here now and talk, but I couldn't walk past a mirror without judging myself, and I still do it all the time. So I'm doing a lot of mirror work. So in this journal, so I have, like, this is why these are so good for me. So I can get one of these booklets, and I basically, so whatever's going on at the time, so say 1 week, this word brave came to me, and it came to me through a picture I found in a charity shop, and it was almost like this picture. So I walked into the charity shop, it was like, it said seeker of all things brave, and it just like jumped out at me. And it's a mixed media painting, but it's like a print, and I knew straight away that was for me, and so I bought it. And then I wrote in here, I did, really difficult to do that. If you were to go home today, sit there and think, okay, what is it that I really, really want? There seems to always blocks come up, you know. You have to really let go of all those blocks. And then, so this house was, it's not the exact house that I want, but it has elements to it that, towards my dream house. So I thought, right, I printed that off, and then I stuck it down on a page that had all like the colours and things that I was drawn to at the time. And then I stuck on here, embrace the possibilities, and that for me every day when I get up in the morning and I have that me time to like feed myself, my soul, I will open up these pages, and these will be a constant reminder to me to remember to embrace those possibilities. And then on the other side I've got the affirmations as well to go alongside it. If you, I found that if I don't do that, if I go through a week, say, without doing anything like this, if I go through a week without any affirmations or any positive thinking, my life suddenly starts going down again. If I don't have that positive input, because I'm the only person in my life at the moment that has that responsibility to feed myself with those positive words, because there's so much negativity going on in my life. Apart from, like, if I go on the group online and there's you guys, and then I see everybody chatting to each other, and I see all your pictures and your planners, and that's really and it is a happy place. That's exactly what it's for. It's that happy place, but you can't be in that happy place all the time. And you have to encourage yourself and build yourself up. No one else is going to do it for you. So in the morning, I find that's the best time. So if I carry this around with me in my planner, I know that I've got something to turn to, you know, so I've got the affirmations there, or if I'm scared, I have fear, or anything like that. So basically, I don't plan for planning's sake. I'm not the best planner at all, but I love the creative elements, and I love how you can incorporate all this into your personal growth, into setting your goals or your dreams. But I mean, the one thing that I really would want to leave you with is don't let anything hold you back. Don't let any criticism, fear of criticism. You will still, obviously, we will have it. You will have it, but don't allow it to hold you back. Don't allow people, you know. I mean, we're our own worst critics. Don't allow the thought of people criticising what you're doing, or even what you want to do, your dreams. Go for what it is that you really, really want to do. And I find the creative planning, the creative journaling really spurs you on every day. It's, you know, it feeds your soul. It helps you to work towards those goals, work towards those dreams, overcome any personal problems that you do have. So yeah, so I found, obviously, with this is the best thing for me, because I can just take these in and out, and I can change it up. But yeah, so that's everything really. So I hope something in there did help, that spoke to you, and there is something there that you can take away with you. But I do feel like I'm preaching to the choir a little bit. So yeah, and I wanted, I don't know if Anna was still doing this, but I wanted people to maybe just sort of like sharing the ideas or something that they think they could add on to it to help, because I don't want it to be just my voice, because everybody has their own to contribute. So if anyone had anything that they wanted to share or add to that, that I might not have shared, because we all have our own gifts. So yeah, so if anyone wants to share anything, please do.